Hello everyone, and welcome to another cleaning and disassembly video. So today we take a look at this. The reason why I bought it is that I actually don't exactly know what it is, but it's very familiar, so I feel like there's that kind of interesting, this is a sort of variation on something that I know. And specifically, it's kind of a variation on an Albertina, or at least that's what struck me at the start. You can see probably the shell is really similar. It has the same, I assume, style of screw-on pommel. It has the same knuckle guard with a screw. They're all very similar in style. What's very different is that it's lacking the ring that the Albertina has within the knuckle guard. And also, maybe the most striking difference is the shape of the blade. This is not your typical Albertina blade. Albertinas have a long blade with two fullers. Well, I've done a video about it, so you can check it out. This one instead is more of a sabre blade and has a nice, beautiful clipped tip. But I'll dive into the research on the sword specifically in another video. Today what we're going to do is clean it, but since it's not in that bad shape, you can see it's actually quite shiny. It has some active rust here towards the tip. And so a little quick cleaning, but since this is probably an easy one to take apart because of the screw pommel, we'll just also disassemble it and see what's up under the hood. So let's dive right in, because why not? I bought it because it really reminded me of this, which is the Italian Albertina. So as you can see, there are some striking similarities. We see the same shape of the knuckle guard, more or less. We can see the shell here, like the shell guard is basically the same. There we go. And it has the same style, I think, of, oops, it has the same style, I think, of screw. Well, there's some marks here and there's no pin, so it definitely is a screw-on pommel. So it is something that is in the family of the Albertinas, and I really like Albertinas, so I thought, okay, this is a nice opportunity to pick up something that's a little bit weird and unusual. It's possible that this is simply a custom sword, and I'll never really know more about it. And it's possible that it's something, that it's an actual model of something that I still have not, I still have not researched or understood. So research pending, we'll just look at the sword in the meantime as it is without speculating too much. But let's look a little at its current condition. So it's a little loose. I hope we'll be able to fix that when we take it apart. It has a very beautiful shiny blade, which it does not seem to be nickel plated or anything, but I'm not 100% sure. It might be actually. But it has some active rust here, so we'll have to take care of that because it would be a shame to let it decay more. It has this lovely clipped tip. And here, well, it has, what's interesting here is this, this direction. You can see that one part of it, up to here more or less, it almost has a satin finish. It's not polished as it is up to here, and this is true on both sides. So yeah, that's just another interesting little feature about it. It has a maker's mark there, but it's not exactly complete. So there's something son. I have to look that up. I haven't done any research on it yet. So anyway, let's get the cleaning. The first thing we'll do is run some oil on it and just see, get the first batch of dirt off. To do this, I'm using a dirty, it doesn't specifically have to be dirty, but I'll just use this to rub the oil, dirty cloth. It's just the quickest one I could find. So I'll get some oil on it and just get the dust and dirt and grime off. Okay, now in terms of autosol, I think we'll use some here because of these. You can still feel these, you can feel the Yeah, so in terms of autosol, I think we're going to use some at least up here for sure, but probably on the whole blade, because although it's nice and shiny, you can feel a bunch of roughness to it. So I think a little light polishing will do it good. Got a generous slathering of autosol on it, and we begin the gentle process of, let me lean it, there we go. Of cleaning it. Oof, I really overdid it here with the autosol. Okay. I'll keep working on the blade and get back to you in just a second. Okay, and we're still on the first side, just kind of gently running the whole length of the blade. And I can feel it getting smoother, so it's really something that you learn to feel. You can kind of feel little obstacles and as you go, and as friction becomes less, you kind of know that you're at the right point. So we're more or less there, I would say, for this side. Okay, and here we are. Wiped off all of the dirty autosol and stuff. The blade is clean. I'll just grab this, which is a little piece of leather we'll use to buffer, as a buffer here, because normally they're too tight to unscrew by hand, so we'll have to use a pair of pliers in this case. So what I normally do is simply put a piece of leather in between. Then this is a very convenient screw pommel because it has straight edges, so it's like a hexagon, I think. So it enables easy gripping. And actually, I think that may already be enough. Yes, so you just need to give it that first little twist, and then it comes apart by hand. Okay, so here we go. You can see why it was having a bit of friction. It's a bit oxidized, but oh no, it's not a hexagon actually. It's technically more of a square, I guess. So here you can see the pommel. Sorry for my dirty hand, but yeah, it's a dirty sword. So there we go. And if we're lucky, this screw should only be holding together the knuckle guard assembly, so this should slide out. Yes, and it does. So it slides out easily. This is pretty tightly wound. So I didn't film all of the disassembly because this screw, you may see, is slightly crooked, I think, or it doesn't spin very well in its socket here, so it was a little bit fiddly to manage on camera. But we have our assembly that is actually very similar to the Albertina one. The big differences compared to the Albertina, well, let's look at the similarities first. Let me get the Albertina in frame so we can actually maybe do a side-by-side comparison. So similarity is the shape, the type of screw on pommel here, not the shape, because the Albertina's is round. This one is square. This is definitely similar. It's almost the same, if you see. This kind of where this screws in, this little lip, and the shape of the, this end where the screw enters. So this is exactly the same, and also the way the knuckle guard fits with the shell guard is the same. You see that there's this little central lip here that inserts and connects with this central ridge here, and this is practically the same on this sword. So if we look at the assembly, you see this exactly kind of fits. Connects here, and then we have this lip that connects with this central ridge. So that's exactly the same. What is slightly different here is the orientation of the quillon. On the Albertina, it falls down, it kind of drops down more significantly. Here it kind of moves out straight from the knuckle guard, but it's a small difference. Other than that, it's really exactly the same, I would say. And another thing that we can check to see similarity or difference is we have a similar kind of decoration cap here, but it's a different style of decoration, but it's the same format, I would say. One significant difference, though, is that the Albertina has this foil wrap around wood, whereas this version of the sword has a wood, I think. Let me check. No, it's probably horn. Yes, it's horn. So it has a horn grip, and it actually has this back strap. So it's definitely a different shape of grip. Well, and another big difference, maybe the biggest, is this very interesting pommel curve. It's almost like a Mameluke style saber in a sense. It's almost like a small version of a Mameluke. But yeah, quite interesting. Now, moving on to the blade. We saw already that there was this maker's mark, which I'll show you in a little more detail now, if I can get it in focus. There we go. So there's a... for sure, SCH Son, S-O-H-N, I think. And there's something before, Eshson. So whatever's missing here is the full name of the maker. There's also this, which seems to be a maker's mark. So we can see there's a little bit of rust, which I'll now oil up and clean up. And then we have the threaded tang. So no real surprises here, I think. This perhaps could be a maker's mark. We'll see once I clean it. This is actually a mark here, but I cannot really tell what that is. It seems like it may be a couple of letters. So let me see if we can focus. Yes, so I wonder if once I see it in video, it'll be a little more clear. That happens sometimes. At the moment, I can't really tell if it's letters or some kind of a symbol, but something's there for sure. And then we have the cleaned up, oiled at least, if not. But I don't want to damage the thread, so I'm not going to work on it too much. Anyway, time to put it back together, and it's always fun to see how easy that process is. So today focus is not on our side. So what we'll do here is first reassemble the guard, and then we'll put everything back together. So I'll just take advantage. This is not my, this is my autosol. This is not. You know, this you can see is still liquid, and this has dried up over time. So actually we'll give it a quick wipe. Okay, we got all that white residue off. And we can do the same here. Okay, time to reassemble things. So we click this in place. We click this in place. There we go. That clicks in place perfectly. We grab our, actually, put this down. We grab our cap and we kind of just close it in place. Oh, this could use a little wipe too. Okay, we put this little cap end on so everything stays in place. And now it's simply a matter of, this is, yeah, this is weird because there's nothing, you have to hold everything in place. The only thing holding everything together here is the screw. So sometimes you have systems that click in place a little more. Okay, now I'll have to tighten this off camera because it's just impossible for me to hold. So I'll be right back. So the grip is back in its assembled state. We can now take the blade, slide it in, and this goes through with no issue. And it goes down up to the end of its run. So Hopefully, if we're able to then tighten this screw sufficiently, we should be able to make sure it doesn't, it's not loose in the hilt, but we'll see. It might just be that it's a loose sword. So we take our leather buffer again. And this is perhaps not the best tool to tighten, but it'll do the trick. And yeah, I can't move it with my hand, and it's actually, well, there's a little, but it's pretty solid. Okay, so sword is back in place. We'll oil it with a clean rag, and then we'll take a final look at it and see what we have. So, okay. Okay, and here we go. So let's take a close-up look. We see that that satin part of the blade is still there. We see there's a little bit of, yeah, the markings haven't gone, of course, but that wasn't the goal. But the blade is looking beautiful now. There's no active rust. That clipped tip is really spectacular. And that was it for today's cleaning. So I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next video. Bye.